Hi everyone, it's Autumn. So today I'm going to be talking about the Somatic Female Narcissist. There are 4 different types of female narcissists that I've identified, and this can help you determine if you are with a female narcissist, and it can help you stay away from them and hopefully avoid them if you're a male or a female in terms of relationships, if you're gay, or in terms of friendships, if you're straight. And one thing for men, I think that female narcissists are very much under identified, and they are just as dangerous and malignant, if not more, than male narcissists. I think it's important that men have more support and that female narcissists be more identifiable. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Somatic Female Narcissist. There are 4: the Somatic, the Covert, the Borderline, and the antisocial, which is more of the sociopath. So in terms of just the narcissist in general, I'm going to go over the narcissistic traits to look for, and then specifically talk about the Somatic Female Narcissist. I have been in encounter with a few, both professionally as a life coach, therapist, and in my personal life. So narcissists tend to have an emptiness about them. You will see her be very stubborn, and she will rarely apologize unless she wants something directly from you. She will make you feel guilty even when something isn't your fault. She'll be entirely self-centered, and she will be at the center of her own universe, and everything will be about her, either it be outwardly obvious, or again, with the Somatic, it's going to be much more obvious. They're going to be expert liars, and with the Somatic, even though they're going to be very in your face, they're going to be very concerned about their looks, their lying is often going to be much more obvious than the covert, or even the borderline, and obviously way more obvious than the antisocial. But she's going to be the Somatic Female Narcissist is going to be very charming and a master of manipulation. So she's going to manipulate you. Oftentimes they are the very overtly sexual females, very, very overly concerned with their looks, overly concerned with labels. So if you're with a woman, or friends with a woman, dating a woman, or married to a woman, and you're wondering if she's a narcissist, if you're seeing traits and she also is overly concerned with labels, what kind of car you drive, does she have a Louis Vuitton bag, this could be a sign that she's a Somatic Female Narcissist. You'll see her blaming others for her problems. This is a huge sign. And with Somantics, they are very much more outward about it. They don't try to do it in a backhanded way, which I'll talk about how coverts do it very differently. They just out and out blame everybody else. And you'll see with Somantics that they're going to blame you. It doesn't matter if it's clearly their problem. For example, she might cheat on you, and when she's caught, she's going to blame you. She's going to say that you haven't given her enough attention, that you haven't, you this, you that. And point blank, it's going to be your fault. Don't even try to get an apology. It's not going to be until you go to leave her over the infidelity that she may apologize. But again, most of the time it's an empty apology. Especially with Somatic Female Narcissists, they tend to be the ones that cheat the most. So I'm going to talk about a few different Somatic Female Narcissists, do kind of case studies to highlight examples. One of the ones that was close to me in my life personally, so I knew a lot about her, was a girl named Natalie, or I'll call her Nat. And Nat, she would be in long-term relationships because she always had to have somebody who had a lot of money, who gave her a lot of status, and she had no problem saying this. She jumped from man to man. She always lined up one man before she left another. And this would bother me. This was part of the reason why I stopped being friends with her. When I had first met her, she was with a guy named Brian, who was an amazing man. And so lovely, and I liked him so much. She was with him for years, and she had started, we would go out and she would kiss other guys, and I believe she was cheating on him, going home with other men. I would often go home early, and I didn't feel okay with that because he was such a great guy. So this was kind of like and I found this with other female somatic narcissists, that they tend to be like male somatic narcissists, almost identical when it comes to cheating. They tend to cheat a lot. They especially are concerned with status. So these females will often date men based on how much money they have and their position or their social status. Yes, looks are important, but not as important. Every female somatic narcissist I've met will often hook up with hot guys, but they will only have relationships with men based on their money and their status. So for example, Nat and the couple of other somatic female narcissists I've known all married or had long-term relationships, serious relationships with men that were not good looking, that were much older, who had a lot of money, and who had a high status by being like business owners or surgeons or something like that. Again, it's all very superficial. And I always felt bad for their partners. Although, here's the thing about female somatic narcissists. They tend to be very good looking. And I'm going to say this with a caveat. Are they born that way, or do they make themselves that way? It could be one or the other. Either they're born that way, and that is part of the reason why they become female somatic narcissists, right? Is because they are good looking and they have this tool. The tool is that they're sexy and that men want them for their looks. So they've exploited that. And this is why they've become somatic narcissists instead of covert narcissists, because they exploit their sexual prowess, if you will. The other side is that they aren't that hot or good looking, but they get plastic surgery, they use a lot of makeup, they use a lot of tools, they may have an eating disorder to be very skinny, and they've made themselves that way. You'll see with some female somatic narcissists in particular that when you see them without makeup and without their hair done and yada yada, they look extremely different and they're no longer hot. I've been told this by so many men that dated or were married to or were with somatic narcissists. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a couple of quick stories to highlight how a somatic narcissist is. So, talking about Nat, so she was a very clear-cut somatic narcissist. You would meet her, she was over the top. She had had a boob job. She had plastic surgery. She was a very hot, quote-unquote, girl, but everything was fake. Fake eyelashes, fake, fake eyebrows, fake boobs, fake this, fake that. And she would jump, again, like I said, from one relationship to another. Now, this is every female somatic that I've known. And it was always about her. We couldn't go out without her being the center of attention. And if there was a woman in the crowd in our group, or if I, for example, was getting more attention than her, she would do something totally outrageous to get the attention back to her. She would get angry and shout, or she would get super drunk and dance on the tables. Anything she had to do. It was almost absurd. And it was so clear that everyone around her could see it. There's nothing covert about these girls. They're totally obvious. So one time she was dating, in between her two long-term relationships, she was dating a guy for about a year. And she said to me, we were out, and she says, this is just so typical somatic female narcissist. She says, because they exploit their sexuality and they think they're just so hot. And one quick thing, they're always about, they're more concerned with being the alpha female amongst other females than they are winning over guys or being number one with men. When it comes to men, somatic females, just know they're going to get men. And because they will go for like lesser good looking men oftentimes, and they are just so concerned with like money and status, and they will use men in that way, and they're just so cold. And when it comes to like love, they don't have any. They have no real love. It's all fake, just so you know. So if you think you're with someone like this, I guarantee you it's fake. This girl, one of the semantics I'm talking about, actually all of them, I feel so bad for their husbands and their boyfriends. One of their husbands recently was saying, when he was drinking and kind of got sloppy and was saying, I don't know if she really loves me. And I wanted to say to him, she doesn't. The reason why you feel that way is because she doesn't. You know, he's like 20 years older than her. You know, she moved it along very fast. You know, she wouldn't even sign a prenup when they got married, and he married her anyway. Because, you know, he was so enamored, this girl who was 20 years younger. You know, he's like 55 and my friend's 35, and she's hot, and she's so like, everywhere she goes, men want to, you know, be with her, and she has this whole thing, you know, she tells everyone, every man wants to be with me and every woman wants to be me. And this is how these women are. So if you know, just so you know, they may be attractive, they may be fun to have a one-night stand with, but if you get involved with them in a relationship, you know, they are going to, you know, they're never really going to love you. They're never going to. They're only going to love what they can do for you, what you can do for them. So this is a great example of these women. She says to me, oh, I did this thing for, you know, so-and-so, what was his name? So one of these guys she dated, let's just call him Bobby. For Bobby, and for his birthday. And so she shows me what she had done was she had taken a picture of herself from, like a selfie, from behind, like bending over into the mirror, where, so she's leaning over and she's naked and her butt is like, you know, out, and you can see her hoo-ha from behind, right? She gets the picture, put on a t-shirt, and she gets a star put over where her hoo-ha is, but you can see everything else. You can see her butt, everything, and she's like bent over. And she gives it to him for his birthday. And like she like forces him to wear it. And I remember being over and he was like wearing it to walk the dog. He was wearing a t-shirt, okay, of her taking a selfie. So she had like silk screened onto a t-shirt, gave it to him for his birthday. I mean, oh my God. Oh my God, think about that. Think about how narcissistic that is. She is taking a selfie of herself naked with her butt out, her hoo-ha out, and all she did was put this little star over it, but you can see everything basically. Okay, maybe as a gag gift or something like cute and sexy, to take the photo would be one thing, but to put it on a t-shirt to show everybody, and then to have him wear it out in public amongst friends, and so she could be like, that's me, and look at how hot I am, and look at how lucky he is to be with me. I mean, that's basically what she would tell people. So this is the kind of stuff, you know, this kind of, they will exploit their sexuality. Everything's about how great they are. And it's always about being the alpha amongst other women. So if you're with a somatic female narcissist, they will constantly be at odds with any female in your life. Any female that they feel takes any kind of attention away from her. Your mother, your sister, even your own children. I know some female somatic narcissists. I've known at least 3 or 4 in my life that I've known fairly well personally. Obviously, at a certain point, they're no longer in my life because they're just so selfish. And I can't, you know, you can't be around people like this and be close to them. And but they've even been like this with their own daughters, especially with their husbands. So if you're going to continue to be in a relationship or choose to be in a relationship with one of these women, just know you're going to have to not have any other relationship, friendship with another female. You can't be close with your mothers. You're not going to be close with your sisters. And you better be ready for that woman to destroy the relationships within your family. Because if there's, unless you have all brothers and you're only close with with men in your family, then she'll be okay. But with other females, she needs to be the alpha. Or unless you have a family that's very passive, where she can be the alpha female, where she can boss your mom around and boss your sisters around and be in control of everything. And if that's the case, it might actually work out okay, because these women need to be in control and they need 100% of your effort and attention at all times. And they will leave you at a drop of the dime. Every female semantic narcissist I have known, they often were in relationships for several years, even long term, and they just left because they found someone better. And by better, I mean someone richer or who had more status. And every guy was heartbroken, and every guy that they left was actually a really good guy, because these women usually only end up with really nice, sweet men, because they're the only ones who will put up with their drama and their nastiness and, their unloving, ungiving ways. So I hope some of these red flags and some of these descriptions of what is female semantic narcissist helps you be able to identify if you are with one or if you're starting to date one. My suggestion is to get rid of her and find someone who is not afflicted with a cluster B personality disorder. These disorders are personality disorders. They are not mental illnesses. They cannot be fixed. They are personality traits. They will not go away, and they will not get better. They are here to stay. You cannot love someone out of these traits. They will only get worse with time. And the more that you love somebody and the more that you give them, all it does is enable these traits, and it makes it worse. And they will exploit you and manipulate you more and more and more. And it turns into abuse. And I'm telling you that if you choose to be with one or stay with one, that it's only a matter of time. It may be a month from now, it may be 10 years from now. But it's only a matter of time before they cheat, you find out they have a whole nother life, or they leave you, and the abuse comes crashing down on you. And believe me, I'm getting a lot of calls right now from men who've been with women like this, and it breaks my heart. They're all very great men. So my suggestion is, if you're seeing these red flags, if you're seeing this, especially if it's a new relationship, is to cut your losses early on and look for a woman who doesn't exhibit these narcissistic traits. All right. I hope, as always, everyone, much love and namaste. Cheers.